What's up, John?
I got you.
Oh man, good.
There we go. Woo! All I needed was an update. That was good. Yeah. Okay, that worked.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do we want to start off like that, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we said we're not gonna. Everything's how it is. How it happens is how we're gonna put it out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. That's just
everything's real.
Yep.
That's how we're gonna do it.
Yep.
Thanks for being there. So we're gonna do it like this. Let's do it like this. We'll on that one. But yeah, so let's get started.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So why don't you tell people about you, who you are, and what you do, basically, and because this podcast is about the idea is to take people who don't know a lot about tech and kind of introduce them slowly into it and just give them an idea of what it's like. The focus of the podcast is not to talk over people's heads too much.
Correct.
So they don't shy away and don't don't want to do IT basically. And we talk about other things other than IT, but of course. Yeah, for the most part. So why don't you talk about your how you started in IT, and what type of thing can you offer to the listeners? What advice, or how did you do it? What can you say on that?
Well, as far as how I started off in IT, first I was a person who installed cables. I was an installer, so I ran and installed cables and phone systems, computer systems, and all that stuff. I was in the military, but that's what I did a lot of. I did a lot of installing cables, the systems. I eventually, in the same, I guess you could say, role, they started shifting me over to doing more, I guess you call it networking and messing with PCs and just different type of fields, and I guess security type of field. So I had to make sure all the systems were updated with the correct security policies and making sure that you just connect the devices to the network pretty much. It was a very small scale when I first started out. And I still didn't know much of anything when it came to networking until Mr. Gary here. So, long story short, again, like I said, I was really like a cable installer, install cables for a device. Now, that's not a bad job to have either. I mean, there's, like right now, cabling is a big deal. Fiber optics, even just copper cabling. It's a pretty big, they do a lot of infrastructure work. They're like on ground zero doing a lot of work. So that's a good job to have. You can get into cabling, is good. But anyways, I moved on into IT. Not because I don't like cabling. Cabling, I still like doing cabling and stuff because it's more active work. But I still like doing that. But I don't do it much because my role now. But I got into IT networking because Gary here, he tricked me into going somewhere. Not just playing. No, but honestly, one of the reasons I got into IT was because one of the jobs I was working on, I was a cable installer. We were managing wireless devices. This is when wireless wasn't really that big yet. It was getting big. It was already big, but in homes. But as far as businesses and like military and stuff like that, it wasn't like a big thing yet. It wasn't that long ago. It was only like 8. I want to say not even. It was about 10 years ago. It's not that long ago. Like 18 years ago. So, anyways, I was installing. We had to connect these things called NEMA boxes, and they were like wireless boxes we had to create for the access points, and these were for like places like airplanes and bunkers and stuff like that. So we had to have them ruggedized so they wouldn't be messed up in those places. And there was one time to where I came to the manager, asked anybody if he knew how to connect remotely to a network device, and I was like, I don't know, And then one of my friends I worked with said, "Oh, you have to use Telnet." And he went up to the device console and typed in Telnet and put the IP address in there. I looked at him like he was a genius. I was like, "Wow, what the heck is that?" I was like, "What the heck? How did you you know how to do that? And if you're a network guy, it's like, what? It's nothing that big. But to me at that time, I was like, what the heck is this? And I was like baffled at this thing called telnet. And I was like, what the heck? And then like, from there, I was okay. I was kind of interested, and I tried to learn IT on my own and with friends, but it was so confusing. It was just networking. As far as IT, I mean networking, it was confusing as heck. Because there was a lot of fields in IT, so I can't say IT. But when I'm talking about networking, it was confusing as heck. So when I was at this job, I was in Germany. Lo and behold, Gary is still in contact because we worked before, and Gary said, "Hey, you should come to India. They got good training here. Mr. Abita, And I'm going to talk just a little bit. Abita actually contacted me a few months ago.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, he did. It was on Facebook. He said, "Hey," he saw I was traveling, so he said I was doing this like that. But anyways, so I got into IT that way. Gary here got me to go to India, which was a really good idea for me because I knew nothing about IT networking as far as networking is concerned. And I went to India, and long story short, which I said like a few minutes ago, but anyways, I went to India because Gary suggested it. And it was one of the best suggestions I have gotten because I went to India not knowing a thing. I mean, this was like a few weeks or about a month or two after I knew about the telnet command. And I went to India not knowing anything besides telnet, the telnet command, and IP. I guess what an IP was, but I didn't really know about the structure of IP addresses and stuff like that. So I went to India not knowing anything, and after 3 months of India, I left India pretty much being pretty good at routing and switching and networking, and going to California with a job. That's how I got into IT as far as networking is concerned. Because the ability to wanting to, I guess, advance myself and learn more, and just take it upon myself to get better and just get a new, I guess you could say, a skill. That's pretty much what it boils down to. I just want a new skill. And the best way to get a new skill is just to go out and just learn it. Just find a way to, you don't have to travel to India like I did, but, especially now because there's a whole lot more, I guess you could say, platforms out there that you can learn from now to, start learning new skill sets and stuff like that. And not just in the IT field. This could be a lot of fields have plenty of to learn, not just out there now. You can learn, not even going to or you can learn on your own. Pretty much what I'm trying to say. So that's how I got into IT was because Dino Gary here suggested, and I listen to people. I listen to a lot of people. I listen to a lot of suggestions from a lot of people. And if it sounds good, legit, I'm not gonna ignore or disagree with it just because I'm not used to it or I'm not. I don't agree. Sounds good, and if it's not hurting anybody or myself, and it's something that I'm interested in, that I'll at least look into it, and that's what I did with that. And I'm glad I looked into it, and I got into IT that way.
That's awesome, man. So did you? So like, if you were to talk to some folks, right, you would say what, college or certification or what? Like,
see, that's crazy. See, I don't want to tell people not to go to college. If that's what somebody wants to do, then yes, go to college. But I'll tell you right now, I believe, see, college for me is outdated in the sense how they go along and go about their, I would say, training, the classes and courses and everything like that. So I actually did go to college for 2 years, a year and a half. This was after I went to India. We went to college for about a year and a half, 2 years. Actually, it was about 2 years. I went to college for 2 years, and I was really upset going to college because I did not learn a dang thing. I was really upset because I went for a year and a half, 2 years. So here's what happened. So after I went to India for 3 months, I was running out of money, so I had to leave. I wish I stayed longer. But I eventually got a job in California with Gary, actually. That's a crazy story in its own right.
Yeah.
Let me go real quick. So when I was in Germany, I was working for one company, but then another company contacted me. And so they brought me over, and they walked me through the facility and everything like that. And everything went good, the interview and everything went good. But the only thing that stopped me from getting it was, he said I look too young. I was like, what? So, okay, whatever. So I suggested one of my friends that was there, and he got hired. Actually, well, like 2 months later, he got hired. I went to India because of that. I was, you know what? I went to India. And then I suggested Gary to that same company in Germany, but he ended up getting a job with that company in California. And then he suggested me to that same company that I suggested him to for a position in California. So then I got a job in California after India. So that's how I ended up in California. It was like a circle of networking, I guess you could say. That's a true circle of networking right there. It's always good to know people. That's a true story, true evidence of networking. But anyways, so after India, I went to California, and I was supposed to keep my training going on. So I was supposed to go at the exit level of the course I went for. But when I went to the new job in California, they said the certification I had was required. But when I got there, they needed 2 other certifications. So I put my training on hold for a few months to do this training. And it wasn't much. It was A+ in Microsoft Certified Desktop Service Technician. I didn't do too much studying for it. The questions were pretty, I don't want to say easy, but they were pretty common sense questions. Like, what do you do if somebody cusses at you on the phone, a customer? Like, what do you do? Cuss back? Situation? What do you do? Tell them something to F off? So it was a pretty, a lot of questions were like that. So that was a pretty, easy test, I guess you could say. But anyways, so I was supposed to continue my training in networking and stuff like that. But then I decided to get a bright idea. You know what? Me and this colleague of mine decided, and I'm sure you might know him, David, because he might have came after you left.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, so I was like, you know what? We came with this idea. Let's go to college. So I looked at the college degrees that they had. I went to online university called Colorado Technical University, and I went the course of information technology security, and it was a bachelor's degree program. And I applied for it, and I got into it. Wasn't just applied for it. I was expecting to get some credits off of it since I already had certification. Cisco certified network associate, because I went to India and got that. But I didn't get it because I got it when I went back to Germany, took the test, passed it because of the training I got in India. And I'm thinking, hey, they're going to take some credits because of this. They're going to take credits because of the military. They're going to take credits because of my A+ MCDST and because of some of the, my work history. They didn't take anything. I was kind of mad. Okay, whatever. So I went to school. After about a year and a half, 2 years, I realized I'm not learning anything that really nothing new. And actually, I know nothing now that can help me with my current job. And I don't think anything I learn now can help me with future jobs. The only thing I really learned was probably some Java programming, but I'm not a programmer like that in that case. So that's not what I was going to school. I was going to college for the course, which was IT security, and nothing was teaching yet. Nothing was really remotely close to anything networking. So I was kind of confused. Didn't learn anything, and I dropped out eventually. After that, I dropped out. I stopped going. I dropped out, and I went back to studying on my own, and going that route, and it's been a whole lot better. So as far as college is concerned, I would say that depending on what you go for, it's needed, like a doctor, yes, of course. Maybe a scientist, yes. Electrical engineer, because you got to have hands-on stuff. So for that type of stuff, yes, you're going to need it, I guess you could say. And honestly, for a lot of IT fields, I think a lot of colleges are outdated for a lot of IT, and not just IT, but a lot of industries. I think they're outdated. I don't think you need a lot of those. What do you call those courses that you don't need at all because there's nothing towards what you want to do? Prerequisite or what they call those courses?
Requisite or prerequisite courses.
I don't think most of those courses I do not believe are needed because, like, I think you got the English course, you have the grammar, you got all those courses, and honestly, since I started doing IT, I cannot recall not one CTO, not one director, not one manager, not. This is when I have a job, and when I'm like interviewing for jobs, I haven't heard one. I've not come across one recruiter, one HR person, human resource person, one anybody complain about the spacing on your notes, the spacing on your emails. How are your what's your dear this. I haven't had anybody complain about how I type my letters, how I type anything. I have yet to come across anybody give two craps about that, honestly. I have seen nobody care about it. Nobody cares about that stuff. All they want to know is it going to save the company money? Is this going to fix this? Is this going to help? As long as they can understand that, they're okay with how you type your letters. Of course, if it's unreadable, like you're misspelling everything and everything's out of order, of course, they might have issued in. But as far as going to college and taking these courses to know the spacing between each letter, how I should write in all the tabs, and I have yet to come across any company or any I guess you could say leader, like CTO, director. I deal with CTOs, directors, project managers. I have yet to see any one of those guys care. I see some of those guys mess up on letters. I see any one of those guys care about how it's written. All they care about is it readable, is it understandable, and is it what we're trying to focus on. And that's like, so all these courses I'm seeing on colleges is like, I don't think they're really like, I think they're outdated is what I'm trying to say. And I think they're outdated because it makes them a lot of money. So they want all those courses on there because it makes them a lot of money. But to me, I think they don't have enough. They don't have enough. We should say they don't have enough focused material to really get anybody anywhere after college. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because let's look at it this way: if you take, I think AT could probably be a fact. If you take somebody that goes to 2 years of college versus someone, let's do it like this, Gary. Let's say you take somebody who goes to college for 2 years straight and does their curriculum, right? And then you take somebody that takes 2 years. Let's just say money's not an issue. Let's just say that they're training. Let's just say they're training and studying based on what they're getting. So let's say somebody goes to college for 2 years straight. And then take somebody that goes on their own and study something that they want to study in IT. Let's say IT. They're going for IT networking, right? A person in college going to IT networking versus somebody doing their own studying, going to their own training, private companies giving training, private vendors giving training. Let's say they spend 2 years doing that versus somebody goes 2 years of college. Who do you think is going to have way more knowledge in a specific or just way more knowledge in networking after that 2 years over with?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
After 2 years, trust me, after 2 years of studying on your own and going to maybe like a private company's own, I guess you could say, training courses for like a month or 2 months, doing that for 2 years straight, you will probably be an expert in a few fields versus somebody coming out of college who I would guarantee you be borderline clueless about any technology. You need to be borderline clueless about most technologies coming out of college. This is somebody learning on their own, trying to go for the same type of knowledge in the same field. As far as IT is concerned, you would probably almost be outclassed in every category, I would say.
Yeah.
Because I've been around some interns, and no fault to their own, but they came into our company. I work for a health company, and we had a few interns. We haven't had an intern in a while, but when we did have some, I realized that the progress they've made over the 2 years at the college, or it was in a college, I think it was ITT Technical University, something like that, or any of those universities, but what they was learning was what I was looking at. I'm like, I would be borderline pissed if I went through that for 2 years, which I did. That's why I know about it. I'm glad I went to India first and then college, because then I was able to stop myself from going any further, because I realized I learned way more in India in 3 months than I did in 2 years in college. That's how I knew I wasn't learning anything. I was like, I'm not learning anything at all in college. 3 years, 3 months in India wiped out everything I did in cost 2 years. It wasn't even close. It was laughable, and I spent $3,000 or $4,000 in India on my apartment, my training, and and living there, food and stuff like that. $4,000, $4,500 versus college, which is we all know how much that costs. So when I look at it, I have to look at what I went through, what I've experienced, what I've seen other people go through and experience, and what I can look at when I see companies giving training. Because again, Gary, we all know there's so many venues you can go to